and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and today I'll be making a Mother's Day card. And I'm using this set that I've had for a little while now, but this will be the first time I'm using it. So it's actually from Made to Surprise by Sam Calcott, and it's her 6x6 super slider. And it's pretty cool. It's got a couple of dies that will create you sort of your base mechanism, and one of them will cut out, I think it's the largest square in the set, will cut out this panel here. And what I'm doing is trying to line up the thumb notch so that it's centered, but that the cut line is right above the paper. And then for this is the key mechanism piece right here. And it's a little bit kind of loosey-goosey as to how you want to position this. So whatever looks good to you. I am trying to make sure that it's really level, so that's why I'm using my T-square ruler. And I'm trying to space it so that on the left and right that it's nice and centered, and as well that there's enough room at the bottom to get some tape to secure that part down. So so really that piece, there's no specific way to line it up. It's just whatever looks good to your eyes. And really it's just those two plus this die here. So these those three dies will create you the mechanism for this slider. And then the rest of the dies in the set are great for mats and layers, additional decorative elements, and then there are some word dies as well. What I'm gonna do though is I just want to reinforce those score lines. This paper that I have here, I forget the name of the paper pad. It's from Polkadoodles, but it's gorgeous paper, but I wouldn't class it as paper. It's probably more like a lightweight cardstock. Maybe if I had to guess, I would say maybe close to a 60-pound cover weight cardstock. So it's not flimsy at all, which is why I chose it, because I did want a decorative pattern paper, but because this is the mechanism that folds up or slides up to reveal a hidden message underneath, I do want it to be nice and sturdy, because those folds are gonna get exercised a lot. So this rectangular die here I used to cut this very heavyweight piece of cardstock. So this is a 120-pound cover weight, and it gets attached just to this bottom lip here. And we're looking at the back side of the first panel that I was showing, and I have used some score tape, which is a quarter, oh no, I think it's actually 3/8 of an inch. But it pretty well covers the entire little tab there. But I squiggled on a little bit of liquid adhesive just to give myself some wiggle room, because score tape, once it grabs, it's a strong tape. So once it grabs, it's done. You can peel it up, but it will likely tear some of your cardstock. So that is going to serve as our pull tab essentially, and it will and that's why I want the very heavyweight cardstock, so that when you pull and push that down, it doesn't buckle. So here I've just got a matte layer for my 6x6 card. This one I cut to 5 3/4 of an inch. And then the square that the die cuts for the mechanism is 5.5 inches. So so that's the base of our card. I am gonna use this gorgeous Darling Buds. This is actually a pre-colored. I think the one I'm using will be Primrose, and I thought the colors matched perfectly with this pattern paper. And so that's why I've decided to use her. You can buy her as a black and white digi as well if you prefer to do your own coloring. But ever since the one time that I accidentally bought a pre-colored digi, I have definitely grown to appreciate them because it just makes for gorgeous, fast card making. And so in a pinch, it's really nice to have these pre-colored images. And because I've only printed her just on regular paper, I do like to use a nice, super smooth, bright white digital copy paper, but it is just paperweight at the end of the day. It's slightly nicer than my everyday office paper, but it's thin. And so I'm going to cut a matte layer out of the same pink that I have on my card base. And that also helps frame her a little bit and helps her stand out from the card as well. But when I go to adhere her, I'm only going to adhere her on the bottom part of that easel so that she pops up and stands up from the card when you have the card fully opened. So I like to, when I'm doing interactive cards, sort of do a dry fit so that I can figure out how everything is going to look and where everything is going to go. And I thought instead of stamping an image or a sentiment that gets revealed when you pull up the easel, I decided that I want to use maybe some of the dies and the word sentiments in this die set to build up my sentiment. And that's the paper pad that from Polkadoodles where this pattern paper came from. I think it was Sweet Treat. I'll link to everything that I use in the description box below if you are interested in checking out any of these products. But there are some really fun dies in this set, and a lot of them are general purpose everyday. So sort of like the love word. I think there's an XOXO word die. There's this heart with sort of the wings. So a lot of those I think can be used on any theme card really. But there are some that are pretty unique as well, which are more sort of like your cosmetic line of dyes. So there's, I think, a nail polish bottle and the nail polish brush. There's also, I think, a like a little, I don't know if it's lip balm or blush, but it's circular and it looks like it's a makeup item. And then there's some glasses. I think they're meant to be sunglasses maybe, and a crown. So there's just a real nice assortment of things. And one of the mats and layers that you can actually add is a little Polaroid photo frame. So that's pretty cool too. I was gonna use that, but it's I wanted to use this pre-colored image in full, and I had already printed it out at this scale because I really wanted her to be like center stage and take up a good majority of the card. So lots to explore there, and what I'm doing now is adding some of my low profile foam to the back of the mechanism, and I'm being careful to only add it to the three borders, left, right, and bottom of my slider panel here. And that's because we want to steer clear of that white panel, which is the pull tab that's going to pull up the slider mechanism. So I'm being careful to give just like a sliver, just a little bit of clearance so that none of that foam gets in the way of the path that the pull tab needs to travel. And here what I'm going to do is just stamp out a little pull here so that if the person getting this card is not familiar with this style of card, which I feel like most interactive cards that that will likely be the case because, store-bought cards don't tend to have a lot of interactive features. And so it's always nice to have a little bit of some instructions. And so I've stamped that on, but you'll see in a moment that when I go to put this panel down, that's going to be completely hidden and pretty much useless. So I do find an alternative solution. But if you're going to redesign this card, as I have created it, which are always free to redesign any of the cards that I make, I don't mind at all. But but just know that was not necessary. And in fact, I don't think it's necessary to even die cut the thumb notch. It's a really useful die to have in your stash if you don't already have one. But I think in this case, because the pull tab does stand up beyond the slider panel, you don't really need the notch. There's enough clearance there for somebody to grab onto that tab. So the reason why I use the low profile foam is because I do plan to put die cut elements in here. So I wanted that foam to raise the slider panel up a little bit so that there's clearance to for the easel portion to slide right over these die cut elements. Now, they are going to create a little bit of a catch point when you go to close your easel, but at least it won't be a super tight fit, and it'll slide with a little bit more ease. And the low profile is nice because it's only 1 millimeter thick, so it's not going to increase the cost of shipping this card if you need to put it in the mail, but it's definitely giving enough clearance for that mechanism to slide smoothly. So I originally was thinking that I wanted to use the dies in the Super Slider set, but I decided to just shop my stash a little bit and find something that scale-wise filled that space a little bit better. So the mom die is from I'll have to look again. I've already forgotten. The best word, that was from a Sizzix die set. And so now that I've previewed everything and it all looks good, I'm gonna stick down my Primrose Darling Bud panel here. And again, there's just adhesive on that bottom section. So it's basically kind of the middle section if you think of that slider mechanism. The bottommost section has our pull tab attached to it on the back side. This would be the second section. And here's my fix. So this is just some nested circle die cuts. I stamped out a little triangle to suggest that you want to pull that up. And I'm positioning that so that it's going to cover the pull here stamp that I stamped originally. And then to make this pull tab a little bit stronger, I die cut this out of the same 120 pound. And I just trimmed it off because that's going to bring it level with the cardstock. And then I'm going to add another pink die cut. So that's going to make the back look nice, but also make that pull tab stronger at the top. And so that fixes that problem, and the rest is pretty smooth sailing. I did still decide that I wanted to use this little heart, which I thought was really pretty. And so I'll go ahead and attach that. Plus, I like bringing a little bit of that iridescent mirror card to the front. So it's there in the pull tab, but having it on this front panel too, I think makes it kind of cute also. So that pretty well finishes up this card. I think it turned out really awesome, and I love this pre-colored image. I wish I also had the black and white, which I might go back and get as well, but having the pre-colored is really nice because then I can focus my time on making a more interactive and unique card. So if you're, pushed for time and you can only invest your time in, one aspect, either the coloring or the mechanics of the card, the pre-colored images are really nice. So, combining that with some pattern paper definitely frees up your crafting time so that you can focus on maybe a more interactive style card like this one. I hope that you enjoyed this card, and if you did, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you want to catch new videos as I post them, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing the notification bell. Until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye!